So recently, I just turned the big 25. Time for a quarter-life crisis. Okay, that's assuming I live to 100, which is a pretty big assumption. What's up, guys? Azmain here, Junior Dots from London, and these life lessons are going to sound a little very cliche, but aren't they just cliche because they're universal truths that we all learn at different stages of our lives? Yeah, that's my excuse. I went deep on you there, didn't I? So in this video, I wanted to talk about 7 lessons that I've learned on my way to becoming geriatric. Valuable member of society. Number 1, age really is just a number. When you're younger, each successive year feels like a massive milestone. 13, you're a teenager now. 18, you're legally an adult. 21, keys to the house. 25, At each of those stages, it feels like there's this pressure, this invisible obligation to become more mature, to metamorphosize into an adultier adult, so to speak. But turning 25 doesn't suddenly mean that I'm a completely different person. I'm the same as I've ever been, but I still have the opportunity to grow. I'm probably watching more Disney shows and films than when I was a kid. And just because you're a certain age doesn't mean you're too old to enjoy the things you used to do. And it's certainly not too late to start something you've been meaning to do for ages, like start this YouTube channel, for instance. And conversely, you're never too young to start a habit or pursue a passion if you've got the drive and determination and it makes you happy. Number 2, it costs nothing to be nice. 0. Yes, it takes Herculean effort to interact with people on a daily basis, especially if you're a massive introvert like me, but you gotta make that effort. So say hi and introduce yourself to someone new or whom you haven't met. Ask them how their day is going. If there's anything you can do to help, if you can make them a cup of tea, just the offer alone can bring positivity to someone's day. Genuinely thank someone if they've done something nice for you. Praise and congratulate them if they've done something you admire. Let them know they're doing a good job. Now, I hate small talk as much as the next person, but that statement needs to be qualified. I don't like meaningless small talk. Yeah, it's nice outside, isn't it? More often than not, it's the small talk that helps us form emotional connections with other people to gauge the interests that we have in common, and it opens up the gateway to being more comfortable talking about the deeper issues. Number 3, just stop sometimes to take care of your well-being. There's a lot of talk about stress and burnout and resilience, topics that deserve videos of their own. Putting this into practice is hard. The majority of us are highly driven. We all want to succeed. We all want to be the best at what we do, but always putting in 110% of yourself to the task just isn't sustainable. Sometimes you just need to disconnect from the to-do list and the daily grind to ask yourself the question, am I okay? That's a hard question to answer when you're just getting by, when we're constantly taking care of other people ahead of ourselves or pouring all our time and efforts into our work. Developing the insight and self-awareness to know that my body needs a break and being aware of both my physical and mental health has been a major lesson for me as I've grown older, one that I'm still learning. Point number 4. Things that make you happy are time invested, not time wasted. Again, procrastination is a topic that deserves a series of videos to itself, but the key thing I've learned is if I'm playing a video game or binge watching a show on Netflix or just hanging out with my friends or family, I do these things because I enjoy them. Could I be using the time doing other so-called productive things? Maybe, but what's it worth if it's just making me miserable? Ali Abdaal did a video recently on the secret of productivity, and I think he hit the nail on the head. Productivity is not the end goal. It's a means to an end, that end being a happier and healthier life. If your productivity is to the detriment of your health and happiness, kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it? So don't ever feel guilty about spending time on the things that make you happy, or indeed the things that are gonna provide you with memories for the future. Point number 5, connect with family and friends. This is linked to the last lesson. Connecting with other humans is a source of joy. We need social interaction, no matter how introverted we are, and loneliness is just as much of a pandemic these days. Investing time into your relationships with other people, your family, your friends, is always worth it in the long run. Yes, of course, we grow apart from certain people in our lives, and sometimes that's for the better. However, as long as they're alive, we always have the opportunity to reconnect with the people that mean most to us via the power of social media, a direct message, a video call, or just a good old-fashioned postcard. There are some relationships that are worth nurturing. Yeah, making friends and meeting new people is hard, but making a great friend that's always got your back, that's priceless. Point number 6, life's a marathon, not a sprint. We tend to compare ourselves to other people who are wealthier than us, seemingly more talented than us, with a whole laundry list of achievements. But the thing is, we are all individuals that mature at different rates. We're all at different stages in our life journey, so the only fair comparison that we can make is with our previous self. There was a recent video by Kurzgesagt about how many weeks you have left to live depending on how old you are. That video could either throw you into an existential crisis, or it could empower you into seeing how much you're capable of doing with the limited time that you've got. Starting on this YouTube journey, I see people with millions of subscribers, and yeah, it'd be great to achieve that. At the time of filming, I have 25 subscribers, which seems pretty apt given the topic of this video. Yeah, let's hope it's more than 26 by next birthday. Please like and subscribe. I have to trust the process and develop the habits that are going to keep me going in the long run. For the longest time, my main focus was just to get through medical school, and I think that's a very legitimate goal to have. I've thankfully achieved it by the grace of God, and in no small part due to my loving family and amazing friends. But I don't want to just get stuck on the treadmill of medical training, where the only aspect of my life is trying to climb the next rung on the ladder. And that brings me on to my final point. Number 7, enjoy the journey. It can often feel like the grass is greener on the other side, that once we've reached a certain goal, our life will be perfect and we'll be happy. When we stop and think about this logically, it obviously doesn't make sense. If you told yourself the same thing last time, then why aren't you happy now? It's because happiness isn't a state. It isn't a fixed and tangible entity. It's a process, one that requires work and re-evaluation of what's important to you. Cliché alert. We are responsible for making our own happiness and enjoying the process. When we're working away at a job or a project, it's easy to become all focused on the end goal, or alternatively just lose all motivation and hope when we lose sight of that goal. But it comes down to thinking about, how can I make the best of my situation and enjoy doing what I am doing? That's part of the reason I started this YouTube channel, because it allows me to be creative and to have something outside of medicine, improve the skills that I have, like graphic design, and develop new ones like filming and video editing, to provide value to others by sharing my experiences. Having this creative outlet means I can enjoy what I'm doing on an everyday basis, rather than constantly struggling to get over the next hurdle, hoping that things are going to get better. Now, there are those of us who have unfair advantages and privileges, which mean that engineering our own happiness is an order of magnitude easier. These privileges may include living in a developed country, having shelter, food, money, family, access to an education that allows us to connect to the wider world. For those of us without these privileges, engineering our own happiness is a much harder task. For example, if you're a refugee fleeing a war zone, someone living on the breadline and just managing to feed your family, or if you have a chronic or life-threatening illness. But we are all capable of trying to make the most of the moments we have. Even on the darkest days, we can always inject a little humour, compliment a colleague, or connect with a friend. So those are 7 lessons that I've learned in my 25 years of life, and I've got so much more to learn. Now, there's a lot of points in this video that I've only briefly touched on, and I'd love to expand upon, but hey, I'll leave the TED Talks for another time, alright? If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and until the next time, stay groovy.